You wake up at 6:30 in the morning, grab your phone, and before your feet even hit the floor, you check your bank balance. It's not terrible, but it's not great either. You tell yourself, I'm doing okay. At least I'm not broke. But deep down, there's this quiet tension sitting in your chest. You've worked for 20, maybe 30 years. You've paid bills. You've raised kids. You've made sacrifices. And yet, your savings account still doesn't feel like freedom. Now imagine this. One day, you check your account and it says $25,000, not $2,500, not $8,000, but $25,000. Here's the weird part. At that exact moment, something changes. Not just your bank account, your brain, your decisions, your confidence, even the way the world treats you. But here's the thing nobody talks about. Everything changes even more after $25,000. And most people never understand why. They think it's just more money. It's not. It's a psychological threshold. It's a power shift. It's the moment you stop being fragile and start becoming dangerous to the system. So in this video, we're going to talk about what really happens after $25,000. Why it changes your behavior, why banks start seeing you differently, why your stress level drops in a way you can't measure, and why society doesn't want you to reach that number. Because once you do, all right, so let's talk about what actually happens once you cross that $25,000 mark. And I don't mean in theory, I mean psychologically, emotionally, practically. Because here's what people don't realize: before $25,000, you're surviving. After $25,000, you start thinking. And that difference changes everything. Let me explain. When you've only got $2,000, maybe $4,000 saved, your brain is in defense mode. Even if you don't notice it, you're constantly calculating risk. What if the car breaks down? What if I lose my job? What if something happens to my health? Your nervous system doesn't relax. It can't. You're one emergency away from stress. That creates a very specific psychology. You say no to investing because it feels risky. You avoid opportunities because you can't afford to fail. You tolerate nonsense at work because you need the paycheck. You stay quiet when your boss disrespects you. You don't negotiate. You don't push back because survival mode makes you compliant. Now here's the shift. When you hit $25,000, something subtle happens. You're no longer one car repair away from panic. You're no longer one medical bill away from disaster. Your brain moves from threat scanning to option scanning to option scanning. That's huge. Instead of asking, what could go wrong? You start asking, what could I try? And here's the thing. $25,000 is not retirement money. It's not wealth. It's not quit your job tomorrow money. But it's buffer money. And buffer money changes your posture in life. Think about this in real life terms. Imagine you're 47 years old. You've worked steady for 20 years. You finally build your savings to $26,000. One day your boss makes a comment, disrespectful, passive aggressive, 2 years ago. You swallow it. Now fight it. You feel something different. You don't explode. You don't storm out. But inside you're calm because you know you have time. 3 months, 6 months, maybe more. That quiet confidence shows up in your tone. You speak slower. You don't over-explain, and people can feel it. Here's what people don't realize. Money talks before you do. It shows up in your body language. And that $25,000 is the first time in your adult life where you feel slightly untouchable, not invincible, just less fragile. Now let's talk about decision making. Before $25,000, most purchases are emotional relief. You buy the steak dinner because you've been stressed. You upgrade the phone because you deserve it. You finance the truck because you want to feel successful. You're using money to medicate stress. After $25,000, spending slows down. Not because you're scared, but because you finally see what it took to build that number. You start respecting money differently. It's like watching a wall you built brick by brick. You don't want to tear it down for nonsense. Here's where it gets interesting. Your tolerance for debt drops. Credit card balances start bothering you more. Not because you suddenly became disciplined, but because debt feels like someone reaching into your growing safety net. It feels personal. And here's what people don't understand. That's the beginning of financial identity shift. You stop identifying as a worker who saves a little. You start identifying as someone building capital. That word matters. Capital. Capital buys time. Capital buys negotiation power. Capital buys emotional stability. And here's the psychological layer most people miss. Stress hormones drop when you have a real emergency fund. There's research showing that financial insecurity increases cortisol levels. But you don't need research to know that. You feel it. You sleep deeper. You check your bank app less. You don't dread the mail. You don't tense up when the phone rings from an unknown number. That's freedom at a biological level. But here's the thing. This is also where the system starts pulling harder. Because once you have $25,000 sitting there, everyone wants it. Banks start offering premium. Credit cards, car dealerships suddenly approve you for bigger loans. Ads shift. You notice it? The marketing changes when your financial behavior changes. Because the system loves two types of people, the desperate and the overconfident. And $25,000 is a dangerous middle ground. If you're not careful, you'll think, I have made it. You haven't. This is where most people sabotage themselves. They hit $25,000. Then they upgrade their lifestyle, bigger house, new car, vacations, because they feel ahead. But here's the brutal truth. $25,000 is not wealth. And leverage can either multiply your life or disappear faster than it took to build. Here's a real example. I know a guy, mid-50s, worked in logistics, saved aggressively for years, hit about $30,000 in cash, felt unstoppable, bought a $48,000 truck, financed it. Monthly payment, $900. Insurance went up, gas went up, maintenance went up. Within 18 months, savings back under $10,000. Stress returned, posture changed, voice changed, confidence faded. The money wasn't just numbers, it was emotional stability, and he traded it for leather seats. That's what people don't realize. $25,000 is a psychological turning point. It exposes your habits. It tests your discipline. It shows you whether you're building freedom or chasing feelings. Now let's talk about something deeper. Opportunity. When you have nothing saved, you can't invest in yourself. You can't start the side business. You can't take a certification course. You can't take unpaid time off to reposition your career. You're locked, right? But at $25,000, you can experiment. You can say, what if I try this? And that question changes the direction of your life. Because opportunity rarely comes at convenient times. It comes when you're scared. And $25,000 reduces fear just enough to move Wednesday. Here's the psychological twist. You start thinking longer term. Instead of, how do I get through this month? You start asking, where do I want to be in 5 years? That's the difference between reacting and designing. But here's the part nobody tells you. This number also isolates you. Friends who are still living paycheck to paycheck may not relate. They might pressure you to spend. They might joke about you being cheap. They might say, you can afford it. That's social gravity. And it's powerful. Most people fall back under $25,000 because of social pressure. Not math, pressure. And here's what people don't realize. Crossing $25,000 isn't about money. It's about stepping out of the herd. It's the first time you see how fragile most financial lives really are. And that awareness, it changes how you see everything. But we haven't even talked about the math yet. We haven't talked about how this number compounds. We haven't exposed why banks quietly love when you hover just below it. And we definitely haven't talked about why society trains you to never build it in the first place. All right, now we're going to strip the emotion out for a second and look at the math. Because here's where it gets uncomfortable. $25,000 sitting in a savings account earning 0.5% interest. That's basically nothing. That's $125 a year. About $10 a month, banks love that. They'll hold your $25,000. They'll lend it out at 7%, 12%, 18% on credit cards. They'll make thousands from your money and give you lunch money in return. But here's the brutal part. The system doesn't actually want you broke. and it doesn't want you wealthy. It wants you hovering right under stability, right under escape velocity. Think about it. If you have $3,000 saved, you're desperate. Desperate people take bad loans. Desperate people accept bad jobs. Desperate people accept bad jobs. Desperate people carry credit card balances at 22%. Banks profit. But if you have $250,000 in liquid investments, you don't play their games. You negotiate everything. You invest independently. You don't panic. You don't finance furniture. You don't care about 0% APR for 12 months. You're not profitable to them. So the sweet spot for the system, people who get close to stability, the K, and upgrade their lifestyle and reset themselves. That's the hamster wheel. Now let's do some math. You hit $25,000. Let's say you invest it conservatively at 7% average annual return. Not crypto gambling, not options trading, just boring index investing. 7% on $25,000 is $1,750 in the first year. Not life-changing. But here's the part most people miss. Year 2. You're not earning on $25,000. You're earning on $26,750. Then $28,622. Then $30,626. Compounding doesn't look dramatic early. It looks boring. But after 10 years at 7%, that $25,000 becomes about $49,000. You almost doubled it. Do nothing fancy. Just time. Now here's the identity shift. If you add $500 a month to that investment for 10 years, at 7%, you're not at $49,000. You're around $122,000 from a starting point of $25,000. Now let that sink in. Most people never reach $100,000 invested because they never protect the first $25,000. They treat it like bonus money. Instead of seed money, here's the harsh reality. The first $25,000 is the hardest. It requires behavior change, delayed gratification, saying no, packing lunch, driving the older car, swallowing ego. After that, momentum kicks in. But society is engineered to interrupt momentum. Every commercial says, you deserve this, this. Every dealership says, upgrade your life. Every credit card says, rewards. But here's the thing, rewards are bait. Airline miles are bait. Cashback is bait because they're not rewarding wealth, they're rewarding spending. You know what doesn't get commercials? Patience. Nobody runs ads saying keep your 10-year-old car. Nobody says invest quietly for a decade because boring wealth doesn't stimulate the economy fast enough. Now let's talk about inflation. If you leave $25,000 sitting in cash for 10 years at 3% inflation, your purchasing power drops to around $18,000 in today's dollars. So doing nothing is actually moving backward. That's the silent tax. And here's the uncomfortable truth for our age group, 35 to 65. Time is now your most valuable asset. At 25 years old, mistakes are lessons. At 55, mistakes are expensive. So when you hit $25,000 at 48 or 52 or even 60, you're not just building savings. You're building runway. Runway to pivot. Runway to survive layoffs. Runway to say, I'm not tolerating this anymore. And here's where the emotional piece comes back. Confidence compounds too. When you see $25,000 become $30,000, then $35,000, you start believing you're capable. Not lucky, capable. That belief changes behavior. You negotiate harder. You research investments instead of reacting to headlines. You stop chasing hot tips from coworkers. You think strategically. Now let's expose another trap. Lifestyle creep. You get a raise. Instead of investing it, you upgrade the house. You refinance. You extend the mortgage. You trap future income. The bank smiles. 30-year commitment. Predictable payments. Predictable profit. But here's the harsh math. A $400,000 mortgage at 6.5% over 30 years, you'll pay around $500,000 in interest alone. $500,000 for the privilege of borrowing. And most people don't even blink. But they hesitate to invest $500 a month in the market. That's conditioning. We're trained to think investing is risky. We're trained to think investing is risky, when in reality, permanent debt is riskier than disciplined investing. Now let's be clear. This isn't about hating banks. Banks are businesses, they play their game well. The question is, are you playing yours? Because once you cross $25,000, you have a choice. You can become a consumer with a cushion, or you can become a capital builder. That identity decision determines the next 20 years of your life. And here's the final harsh reality. Nobody is coming to save you. Social Security might help. Maybe. Pensions are disappearing. Healthcare costs are rising. Longevity is increasing. If you live to 85, that's 20 plus years after 65. How are you funding that? Of TED. Hope, or compounding TED, everything changes after $25,000 because you see the system more clearly. You see how fragile most people's finances are. You see how easy it is to slip back. You see how powerful patience is of slip back. You see how powerful patience is realize something that's both terrifying and empowering. Freedom isn't loud. It's quiet. It's the ability to walk away. It's the ability to sleep. So here's the identity shift I want you to consider. Stop thinking like someone trying to get ahead. Start thinking like someone building capital. Protect the first $25,000 like it's oxygen. Then grow it. Then let time do the heavy lifting. Because the system thrives on urgency. Wealth thrives on patience. And once you understand that you don't just save differently, you live differently, that's when everything changes. Not because you became rich, but because you stop being fragile. And that is where real power begins.